Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And tonight, you see a big smile on my face, and you guys know what that means. We have a special guest. You know, the preeminent lawyer in the Dominican Republic, Johan Confidente. Again, I can't say enough, ladies and gentlemen, and he's here to answer your questions. So now you real estate investors, you business investors, you guys who are always out here asking the questions about, hey, what about Confotur? Hey, what about my taxes? Hey, what can I tell you? You can hear it from the man himself. And he brings a special guest with him. Harold's also in the house with them. So this is going to be very, very awesome tonight. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, welcome. Stop Struggling Now gear. Where's the emerging millionaires at? You better be here tonight. Check. And please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the late updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight. And tonight you need to share the video because you never know who's going to need special help. And when we start talking about real estate investing, business investing, and a few other things that we can talk about tonight, you better get down here in the chat room because it's live. It's going down. So let's see who's in the house tonight before we get Johan and Harold on here. First up, we have Yahweh J, another real estate investor in the Dominican Republic, is in the house. Hello, everyone, says Yahweh J, and hello, Johan. Thank you so much, Yahweh J, for being here in the house. And oh, I should mention this. If you want to get in touch with Johan, I suggest you do. Make sure you tell him you're from the SSN Nation. His information, his WhatsApp is down below in the description box. So make sure you put that in there. Blade Ascona, welcome to the SSN Nation Wednesday night live stream with Johan Confidente and Harold in the house from OCC Lawyers. That's right, Johan, I got you. .com. Okay, so Mo Better, the member of the channel, another real estate investors in the house, and welcome to the SSN Nation Wednesday night live stream with the preeminent lawyer in all of Dominican Republic, Johan Confidente. And we got to bring him in here tonight. I get so excited when we have professionals in the house, ladies and gentlemen. So let's see, let's bring him in and welcome him into the nation. Once again, very nice to see you, Johan and Harold. Thank you so much for being here.
Hi, Eric. Thank you so much for the invitation. We're super happy, super excited to share some time here with the SSA Nation. All the audience were super excited, and we had the opportunity to meet with many of your the followers of SSA Nation, and we're super happy to be here tonight. We're super excited to be able to bring information to give orientation to those investors looking to invest in the Dominican Republic. As you correctly mentioned, my name is a real attorney Johan Confidente, real estate lawyer here based in Punta Cana. And today I'm here with my colleague.
Absolutely, yes. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Eric, for the opportunity to be here with you tonight. It is a great pleasure, and thank you so much. I am also a real estate attorney. My name is Attorney Harold Avila, and we work together. We are colleagues, and it is a great pleasure to have you here tonight. So it is my pleasure, and thank you so much.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what I always say. One superstar's here. He brings another superstar in, and Harold Avila.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. All right, so we're here, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, hey, hold on, Johan, before I got to talk about this. On Monday, I made a video, talked about how to be successful. And I said this. I said one of my mentions were you have to be a dog, right? So what this means is that's a good thing. That means you put in the work. That means you're trying to be better the next day and learn new things. So
Absolutely.
this is what you guys do, and this is what you help clients, people in the SSN Nation to achieve. So I greatly appreciate you. I thank you so much for helping all the SSN Nation members over the years. I can't say enough. I've had nothing but great
It's definitely a
reviews.
pleasure.
All right, let's get into this,
It has
Johan.
been a great honor to collaborate, and we really everybody that comes to our office and say, "Hey, we were referred by Eric. We're part of SSA Nation." Definitely, they have a special treatment with us, and we're super excited to have you guys on board tonight.
All right, well, here we go. I'm going to start out with some simple questions to begin with
Yeah.
myself, because I'm going to actually make a video about this tomorrow.
Okay.
And this is something that has come up. I mentioned it in the pre about the Confotur law. And a lot of people don't understand there's several aspects to it. But what I wanted to talk about was two things with you, because a lot of people look at it from buying and then they say, well, you have, you don't have to pay that transfer tax and a few other things. But they don't really realize the actual project itself has to be approved based on a lot of approvals. It's not just simply you apply just because you're building something. They actually have to do structural plans and building plan. There's much more to it. Can you say anything about this at all, so people understand it's pretty major when a project says Confotur?
Well, definitely yes. And Confotur is a great thing. It's one of those great incentive that our government has in place for that will benefit foreign investors that decides to come and invest in the Dominican Republic. One thing to be clear is that Confotur is not available for each and every project or each and every property that investors are looking to buy in the Dominican Republic. Confotur will only be available for certain projects that developers apply and qualify for Confotur. And only those that get approved will be the ones that will be able to offer the tax abatement to their clients, right? So it's important to consider that the fact that you come and invest in the touristic area is not a guaranteed thing that your developer or your project is going to have the benefit of Confotur. That will be the very first thing to consider. Second, as you correctly mentioned, when a project has Confotur, it's not only to worry about Confotur. There is a lot of things behind Confotur. There is a lot of things in the project that we need to go through, that we need to verify, make sure that the permits are in order, make sure that the contract is in the best, protects the best interests of the investors, and also making sure that everything is aligned, that everything is legit, and that the seller is truly the owner of the project, or at least that they have the legal authority to sell this project. But generally speaking, absolutely, Confotur is a great thing. It goes in the benefit of the investors, the individual buyers. But let's say you want to develop a project yourself, there are also incentives and benefit for developers. It's not only for the buyers, but also there are incentives in place for the investors who are willing to develop something down here. I'm sorry.
Exactly. And that's great news for the investors. And the funny thing is, I didn't realize how much the developers had to jump through hoops in order to get the Confotur.
Yeah.
I thought originally that it was just a matter of, okay, they apply, they already have plans, and then it's done in 2 weeks or something.
It's very challenging. It's very challenging for the developer. It is true that is significant benefit, as I mentioned it, not only for the buyers, but also for the developer. There are significant incentives and benefits in place, but it's definitely a very challenging process that developers has to go through in order to get approved by Confotur.
All right. Well, that's one thing I wanted to get out the way. And the second part to it is from the standpoint of the investor, because I'm going to make this tomorrow. And I couldn't believe what I was reading, because there's a part of this that I'm not quite sure if it applies across the board for Confotur, because I want to distinguish something because a lot of people don't realize it's about $150,000 and under, whether you have Confotur or not. You still do not have to pay property tax. Is that correct?
Well, this is one of the reasons why I always tell my clients that the Dominican Republic is the perfect legislation for a foreign investor. And some of those reasons is because of the incentive in place. And yes, you correctly mentioned it. And that amount will be adjusted every year according to the inflation and things like that. So for this year, the regardless, someone who doesn't have the benefit of Confotur will and only has one property. If you only had one property and the property is worth under $165,000, your property will be property tax free. Property tax free.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's the whole thing with that first part. But the Confotur adds in some other things, such as that 3% tax you don't have to pay for on the transaction. And then I couldn't believe what I was reading. Is this, I still am in denial. That's why I have to ask.
Yeah.
20% when you do rentals
Uh-huh.
and you have income coming in from the property, you have to pay tax in the DR.
That is correct.
It's 20%.
Well, the taxes in the DR will be, and for that, the income tax in the Dominican Republic is actually for individuals is 25%, 25%. But since the payment will be going overseas, basically the general impact will be 10%. The general impact will be 10%. We have to definitely analyze the figures, and I'm talking as individual, not as a company, but the general tax impact on property tax, I mean on income, on income tax will be 25% for individual.
Okay. And then what about rental income? So most people are from the United States or outside the country, and all they're doing is like getting a management company there, and then they rent it out. So the only income they have is just from the rental. So is that different as far as the tax rates?
Well, the good thing is, same as in the U.S., is tax system here is the same as in the U.S. It's actually your income minus your expenses related to the operation. So the balance in that is what is going to be subject to income tax, and the income tax will be 25%.
Okay, so it's
For
25%.
For
Okay.
individuals. Yes.
All right. Okay. Beautiful. All
Yeah.
right. We have some more people in the house. We have James Way here, another real estate investor in the Dominican Republic. He has the icon next to his name, which that means they're members of the channel, Johan and Harold. And he says, hello, all. So he's in the house. Now, Jaway J, another real estate investor there, and he's going through this right now. He says, I don't know if you can see the question, but Johan, why do you need a title from the developer before you can get an appraisal?
Well, the reason to that is because the value to a property that is not incorporated, the value to a property that is not legit, is not the same as a property that is completely legal, that is completely registered, that is up to date with all kinds of obligation, that does not have any litigation or any situation, legal situation. The values are different. And beyond that, the banks are not going to give you any loan financing if the situation of the property is not in good standing in all sense.
Oh, well, this is something new. I didn't realize that how all the developers aren't in good standing, meaning what does that actually mean? Because they already have approval to build the project, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
So,
we have to probably say yes to that, but we're assuming same as you are until we actually get into the details of the documents, that we get to analyze the documents, that we get to review and verify everything and make sure that everything is in good standing. Until we're able to verify and get it confirmed ourselves, we are under assumptions as well. Sometimes developers they have agreement with the owner of the land, but they don't have necessarily the correct agreement. And as an attorney, we have to double check that. But when you buy a pre-construction property, one thing that you have to know, and this is pretty standard, until the property has been delivered, maybe titles are not available. So you might not be able to appraise the property, and as everything is fine, everything is well. It's just the fact that we're talking about a pre-construction, and they don't have the title yet because the process is different when it's a resale and when it's a pre-construction.
Okay, well, this is great. A question from Jawed J, because I know some contracts say when you get to 80%
Mm-hmm.
of, I believe it was 80% of what you paid, when you during construction, that then they got to transfer or get appraisal or on delivery or something crazy. So are we saying that you actually have to finish? How do we get the title if it's pre-construction then if you can't get the appraisal?
Well, let me go through the process.
Okay.
Let me put an example. Let's imagine that I have a parcel, I have a lot, I have a piece of land, and I decided to develop a project there. I decided to develop 10 apartments. For now, I only have one title, which is the main parcel. Now, I have to go over all the permits, over the whole process to get the contract registered, to transfer the land into my name, and then now apply for the construction permits. And finally, I will be able to apply, once I get all the permits, I will be able to apply for the segregation of the main land that I had and get the individual title for each and every apartment that I'm looking to build. Now, most of the time, we might get to the point that the apartment is pretty much finished, but the titles are still in process. And this is pretty standard. That does not tell you that there is a problem with the developer or that there is a problem with the title. No, it's just the fact that it is in process. Now, how can you know that everything is in good standing? The only way to do that is by having a real estate lawyer to confirm that, because at that point, the only true fact is that the property that you're buying, the individual property that you're buying, does not have a title yet. So the lawyer has to confirm what is the reason why the title is not ready, whether it is in process, whether there is a situation, whether the title is coming. And we also have access to the system to verify the status of the process if it was already submitted.
Wow. Okay. Well, that changes things a little bit. That's so here. The question I have is because Jawed J's in this position right now. He's like they're almost finished. They haven't delivered it yet.
Mhm.
And so how would he be able to get an appraisal? Because that's why he's asking the question. Does that mean he has to see you?
Well, definitely yes. It will be nice, and since he's part of the family, we can coordinate some sort of a consultation for him so we can see his case. Attorney Harold or myself will be more than happy to assist him, and he doesn't have to be worried. It's not a red flag. It's just the fact that if everything is legit with the developer, it's a matter of waiting a little bit until title comes available, right? However, it will be nice that we can go over the file and make sure that everything is in good standing.
Okay, so
But it's nothing to worry. He doesn't have to be worried. All we have to do is verify.
okay, but the thing is, our appraisal process here, like in America, we can call up any appraisal and say, "Hey, pay them whatever, $400 or $500." They'll go appraise any house. We don't have to. It doesn't matter if there's
I
whatever.
understand. I understand. Is he trying to appraise a property in order to get a financing?
Exactly.
Well, the bank is not going to offer the financing, and the appraise is not going to happen until titles are available.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there we go. There we go. Because that's what he's asking, and what the typical timeline for getting this from the developer. You kind of answered it, but if you want to go into any.
I mean, to cover the time specifically, every case is different. Every single case is different. And until we know the status of the file, we won't be able to answer that question.
Okay. All right. So it's a little more intricate. All right. Well, this is good to know because a lot of people have their projects coming up since they just started in 2020, 2021, and little delays. So, yeah, you're going to be busy. by the
Yeah.
way.
Thank you. I'm glad. I'm glad. We like being busy.
That's right. Exactly. All right. Now, I asked you myself about this the other day. So we're talking real estate first, this part. But the second part is there's been many people, because most of the people are from USA. They say things like, "Hey, Eric, I want to get an LLC in the Dominican Republic." And I say, "No, I don't think that's a good idea because they're treated as a business." So since you're here, the same thing I said when I was in your office originally is I asked the same thing. I said, "Hey, should I get an LLC?" And you were like, "Eric, hold on a second. You
Yeah.
might want to think about this."
Yeah.
And you told me why. So why
Correct.
don't you tell everybody else?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. Well, as we already mentioned, every case is different. Some people wants to put the property in the name of an LLC because of asset protection or tax savings. Number one thing that we need to know is to understand what is your reason why you want to put the property under a corporation. Now, if you're looking for tax savings, for savings in general, then the LLC might not be the right way, might not be the right thing to do. And the reason to that is because you will have obligations, tax obligations directly associated with the property, and you will have tax obligation directly associated with the company. Meaning that if you didn't have a company, there is already one type of obligation that you're not going to have. Let me put it that way. Let's imagine that you do buy a property that is worth $300,000. If you buy it in your personal name, you know that the first $160,000 approximately will be property tax free. Property tax free. You do not have that incentive, that benefit if you put it in the name of a company. You do have to pay all your property taxes and there will be zero exemption, meaning that you lose that break already by putting it into a corporation instead of having it in your personal name. The other obligation that comes with it with a company is the fact that you have to hire an accountant to file your taxes. You have to pay the renewal every 2 years to have your company up and running. So those costs will be approximately somewhere between $1,800 to $2,000 a year. This is in addition to any tax obligations associated directly to the property. The tax obligation or your expenses associated directly with the fact of having a company will be approximately 1800 US to 200. When you put it individual versus corporation, you wouldn't have to pay that 18 to $2,000 if you had it in your personal name. So this is just a little example, but some people wants to put it in a corporation because their fund of investment requires that the money has to be invested through their LLC. Then we have no choice. Sometimes they're looking for asset protection, but they have a family situation that is more beneficial for them to put the property under a company. Then we do recommend to put it in a corporation. Now, if the problem was the inheritance, I'm going through an inheritance process, or I would like to assign my property to someone specifically when I pass away, or I want to manage it X way, then you might want to explore the putting the property in the name of a corporation so you can transfer the property according to the laws of the US and not necessarily according to the laws in the DR, because the owner of the property, the actual owner of the property, will be a US entity, meaning that if somebody passes away, we don't have to go through the inheritance process here, but we update the company there.
Wow. That's beautiful. That's what I understand. The business is separate, and that's an entity. And that's one thing that I love, that it's almost like what we have here is like a trust. But in the DR, I akin that too. You have it in the property name, entity.
Yeah.
Then if something happens, you transfer the entity which holds the property. And that's what makes it unique, I believe. That's pretty cool.
Well, I do like the fact that sometimes you have older people that they want to facilitate the process to their heirs if something ever happens to them, and they decide to put the property in the name of an LLC, US LLC. That is completely valid,
Ah,
and we do like to proceed that way. And the reason to that is because, let's say, the older people passed away, and they want to, the property is now going to go to their kids. But there is a process to do here. There's a bunch of documents to submit here. But if they updated the company there, we just have to update the company here as well, and
beautiful.
that simplifies the process a lot.
Okay, so we can have an LLC in the United States for a project property in or business in the DR.
Definitely yes, with the condition that this LLC that already exists in the US is not known in the DR. There is no link to the Dominican government. The process that we have to go through in order to, for the LLC in the US to be able to own property or do business here, we have to go through a process that we call incorporation. We have to get that company incorporated into the Dominican system.
Beautiful, beautiful. And so is there an approximate price for that? That's called a
Absolutely, yes.
foreign
Well,
corporation here in America.
yeah, and every case is different depending on the paperwork, depending on, but the approximative cost will be somewhere between $2,800 to $3,000.
All right, that gives people an idea. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're seeing this. This is the preeminent Dominican Republic attorney. This is the man. And also, he has Harold Avila here, and not only Harold Avila, he has a crew that helps him out who are professional as ever.
Absolutely.
So, again, now let's get into something that we haven't talked about before, because I went to your website, even though I've been there before. So today, this will be one of the few days. Let me see if I can add this here. I don't know if I can add it. Oh, yeah. I'm going to add it today. I'm going to give you a little surprise, right? Your front page.
Nice.
Yes. This is his office, ladies and gentlemen. This is who's helping. They're all professional. They're all great in their own right. Great personalities. I don't know where he gets these employees at, and helpers and co-workers. I don't know, but they're all nice, all good. So what I want to talk about, I looked on your website and I saw, this here, practice areas.
Okay.
There's something I did not know was the financial accounting and tax accounting that you did. So
Yeah.
why don't you let the people know about that? Because I didn't realize you did any of that, quite frankly.
Well, one thing that we have to do, and thank you for sharing the stuff with the audience and our webpage. The team has grown a lot since the last time we updated the pictures, including Harold is not there.
Right.
Harold is not in the. We have to update it. Mercedes, which is my assistant, is somewhere around here too, and we have a lot of other members that are not in the website, but we will definitely update it pretty soon. And well, thank you for bringing that up in regards to taxes. Nowadays, buying a property is not the simple process of getting a title transfer, of getting someone to review the contract. When someone comes and asks me, hey, Johan, can you review the contract for me? That is the wrong approach. That is the wrong approach. You need an attorney to go over every single aspect of the transaction to be able to secure that transaction for you, to make sure that he gives you the right advices and see the transaction, analyze the transaction from all different angles, whether it's capital gains, whether it's tax impact, whether it's any kind of obligation that might have a different, that might make you reconsider whether you want to make that particular investment, or maybe you'd rather do another one. Um, Definitely accounting and taxes, more than accounting taxes, will be key in a real estate transaction or to open and operate business in the Dominican Republic. And this is something that we do here at our office. We have CPA tax advisors that are part of the team. And when you hire our service, you will definitely have a team of experts that will be looking at your transaction from every single angle, including taxes. Meaning that you can feel free to ask us any tax implication, any tax question that you might have.
Oh man, this is awesome. Little did I know you were like a one-stop shop
That is
and
correct.
helping people. And also, because I generally talk about Punta Cana area, a lot of people may be watching this saying, hey, I'm not in Punta Cana. You can actually you have clients in all of the Dominican Republic. You're not just in a eastern province only. You're in the
Well,
whole country.
Well, my colleague Haro can answer that question because he's one of those lawyers who are going mostly with me or on his own to represent the buyers all different in all different areas. Haro?
Yeah, absolutely, yes. Well, as my colleague Attorney Johan says, we are a completely team that we can go with our clients to every closing, to end every meeting that our clients needs, and for that reason, we are here for serve our clients and in any specific details that they need that they request to us. Absolutely, yes.
In any area. Yes,
Yeah,
if your client were to buy in the north coast of the Dominican Republic,
yeah,
we do have the way to assist them there, and we do go there and assist them there. If they were to buy in Santo Domingo, which is a beautiful city, it's a little bit busy but beautiful city,
yeah.
a lot of action. If Samana is a great area, Cabarete. There is great areas here in the Dominican Republic that investors can explore as well. Punta Cana is definitely the most popular, is the most growing area. Absolutely, yes. And this is where we are. Our head office is here in Punta Cana.
Oh, yes, exactly. So everybody watching this, you know who to contact. It doesn't matter where you are in the Dominican Republic.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You contact Johan Confidente and you'll be in touch with him and Harold Avila and the staff. And his number, Johan Confidente's WhatsApp number is on the screen, ladies and
That
gentlemen.
is correct. And
And
please don't forget to tell us that you're coming from SSA Nation.
that's right. That's key. That's key.
Yeah,
You
that's
got to tell them that. That's
key.
right. All right. So let me welcome someone else in. We have another business owner in the house. This is Auntie Val. Welcome to the SSN Nation Wednesday night live stream with Johan Confidente and Harold Avila. They're in the house. The
Yeah.
best lawyers in the Dominican Republic. You better go through them. And you guys, SSN Nation, let them know, because I don't want to hear you guys went through somebody else and then you had a problem. You will have no problems when you deal with Johan Confidente and Harold Avila. All right. So keep that in mind. And she says, good evening, fam. And that heart, she brings the strength and the support. And she's got the notification and trailer. Thank you, Professor Auntie Val is here. All right. Let's get into a little bit more. If anybody has any questions, now's the time to ask. I don't want to hear it later when you guys go me, hey, when's Mr. Confidente going to be on again? I don't want to hear it. You guys are here right now. You don't have any excuse, so you can ask all the questions you want because it's going to cost you next time. I'm going to put up a cost blocker here. I'm going to say you got to pay to get into these things next time he comes here. He's
Nice.
valuable player. All right. Got to get it all straight, Johan. I'm sorry. I got to get it straight. All right.
There you go.
Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. All right.
It is my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Absolutely, yes.
There is other factors that came up a couple years ago when you came on. And one of those, which a lot of people aren't thinking about right now, but me personally, I don't know. I'm going to be a little political here for a second.
Okay.
The United States of America, well, let's just call what's going on over here. I don't feel so free anymore. There's all kind of laws going on and it's crazy. So the whole reason was one of my reasons for picking Dominican Republic, not only for seemingly freedom and the way they have their laws and everything, and Eastern province, they're trying to build very nicely in the rest of the country. My thing I always said was, well, if anything ever happens in America, I can always get on a boat and I can be in Dominican Republic. But when I get there, all I have is a United States passport, and I'm French too. But all I have is those, and they're going, hey, you have a ticking time when you have to leave. So I'm thinking residency, immigration and residency, which you also do. That's what I want to talk about now. Because there's a couple of things. A person owns property is one thing. A person who's retiring is another thing. There's different qualifications for each one. So can you just let us know, whichever way you want to go with this, what the laws are and how a person can actually gain residency of some type, some form?
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. And thank you for bringing that up. Well, I would like to, before we move to that fact, I would like to mention how safe and the level of protection that the investor has when they buy a property here in the Dominican Republic. The laws are extremely strong in the protection of the investors when the due diligence has been correctly performed and the property has been found free and clear. There is no chance that your business, that your investment will be at risk if a deep due diligence has been performed on on the title, and we have confirmed that the property is free and clear. Meaning that once we confirm the status of the property will be transferred free and clear to the new buyer, right? And you will get a title deed that will have all your personal information and certify that you are the sole owner to this property. Is an extremely good way that our government protects the investment of all investors. And the good thing is that when you invest in the Dominican Republic, it's not like some other legislation. It's not a long-term lease. It's actually an unlimited right. It's your property forever until you decide to sell it or something like that. Now, there is no need to become resident in order to own properties or operate business in the Dominican Republic. If that was your desire to apply for the Dominican residency, as Eric is correctly mentioning, here we do have a lot of different categories, few different categories that you can choose the one that is more in favor to your own situation. As Eric was mentioning, if you are a retired person who receives a pension, who has an income, a minimum income of $1,500 per month, 1,500, I mean, 15, yeah, $1,500 per month, then you will be definitely eligible to apply for the Dominican residency. And the residency comes with some benefit. Some of those benefits are that you can actually, they can waive 50% of your tax obligations. You will be able to bring a container with your personal belongings free of taxes. And if you have not yet transferred your property to your name, you will be able to have an exemption on the property to get on the property taxes, meaning to get your property transferred. You can also have those benefits. So the residency is not only the residency, it comes with some other benefits as well. But if you have a property, you do have to comply with some other requirements. But the having a property, owning a property in the Dominican Republic will definitely help you to obtain the residency, to apply and be eligible for the Dominican residency. However, as I'm mentioning, the simple fact of having a property is not going to be enough. You do have to comply with some other requirements.
Okay. Thank you so much for that explanation, because a lot of people are like, hey, what about that residency? I'm like, I don't know. Yeah,
Well,
go
and
see Johan.
I probably have to mention, because we have a lot of business owners here, and then business owners, let's say you can prove that you're making through your company. I think you call it revenue. Is that
Yes.
correct? Yeah.
Yes.
If you can prove that you're making revenue for at least $2,000 a month, you will be able to obtain the residency, to apply for the residency, proving the income that you have back home, regardless if you have or not a property. But as I always mentioned, having a property will facilitate the process of obtaining your residency.
Oh, wow. That's significant, because you could actually have a business in the DR itself. Does it apply if you're making $2,000 plus if it's in the Dominican Republic?
It does apply. You just have to prove that that business was created with the money that you transfer from the US or your country of origin to the DR. It does
Okay.
apply. It does apply, yes.
Beautiful. All right.
And that residency comes also with the benefits that I already mentioned. The container with the personal belonging. You can also include a card in the things that you can bring free of tax, with the only condition that you have to have the car for at least 1 year, and it cannot be more than 5 years old.
Wow.
Yeah,
This
it's a
is
lot of
awesome.
we want people to come and invest in the DR. That's why the
Oh my.
government has all those kind of incentives in place.
Geez, I might have to get a house now over there.
Right?
This is awesome. I
Yeah,
didn't know anything about this. Man,
yeah,
wow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you see, they're making this awesome for everyone to live in the Dominican Republic. Wow. Okay, so you may be able to see this from James Way on the screen here.
yeah.
I don't know what he means by this, though. Can a non-US trust be used to purchase properties in the DR?
Yeah, the answer is yes. And same as I mentioned for the company, we need to incorporate the trust in the DR in order for the trust to own property here. Sometimes what people usually do is that they create a corporation there in the US. That corporation is managed by the US trust, and as a result of that, the same company owns the property here, and that way the trust is holding the company even when the property or the trust is here in the DR.
Okay, so what I think he means, he might be meaning instead of a U.S. trust, can it be like I Canadian trust or
Yeah, 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 absolutely.
French trust or
Yes,
whatever?
absolutely, yes.
Okay,
It will be the same process. We will need to get the trust incorporated here in the DR before the trust becomes treated as subject to right, as an entity subject to right and subject to obligations, meaning that we have to incorporate the trust, and only after the trust will be able to own property or do business in the DR. I just wanted to bring that up because what most people do is that they create a company, let's say in the US, a
yes.
company that will be managed by the trust, and through that company, they will buy the property here in DR. That as the trust will be the one managing the company here in DR because it will be a US entity.
I like that. I like that. Okay, you gave me some content to talk about because we can do something with that. I love it. I love this. All right, Professor Auntie Val, back to the residency. She's asking, is this permanent residency or on a time block, say 1, 5, or months, I guess? 1, 5, 10 years, 20 years. I don't know what that
For the
means, but maybe
residency,
yes. She's asking, is this permanent residency when we're like,
yeah,
well, there's different residencies though.
yeah, there's
So
different type. There's
yeah.
different type. The first one is temporary and is valid for 1 year. But depending on the type of residency that you get, you will be able to apply for permanent within 6 months, within 2 years, or within 4 years. A permanent
Wow.
will give you 5 years, and then you can get definitive for even longer time.
Jeez. Well, there's something that came up in my research. If I'm a resident of Dominican Republic, can I get health care insurance or coverage in the DR?
Yeah, well, definitely yes. You will have access to either private insurance if you would like to hire a private insurance, and depending to if you're working for the government, you will definitely get the healthcare. If you're working for a private company, you will definitely get it. Also, in both cases, you will get them through what we call something similar to Social Security.
Ah, okay. Man, I'm loving this place even more every time you come on.
You need to come
Jeez.
down.
Holy smokes. I need to stay a little longer next time. And oh, by
Yeah.
the way, when I come over as a tourist, right? Just normal. What's the time frame that a person can stay? How long can they stay just by a visitor?
3 months. Three
Okay,
months is the
so
time that you can legally stay in the Dominican Republic. Every time you leave and get back, you get another 3 months. Even if
okay.
even if you're gone only for 1 day, when you get back, you will get another 3 months.
Okay. All right. And is there any way to extend it other than what we were talking about?
Yeah,
Um,
you can definitely extend it. There is a process to get your stay extended for only 30 extra days.
okay. All right. Well, man, okay. I guess I got to stay a little longer. At least I know I can stay 90 days and 40 days for
You just
sure.
connect with me. We do the extension for you.
Exactly. You know I'm going to see you only. I don't trust anybody else.
Thank you.
So, so it looks like we don't have any other questions, which is surprising tonight. I am shocked, but I think you covered most of the ones. And we have DJ Robbie D is in the house. And even though you guys see Robbie D Solutions, but he's known here as DJ Robbie D from Philly. and he has the icon next to his name. He says, "Hello, everyone. Hope all is well." And it looks like Yahweh J does have a question.
Yeah.
Is there a minimum investment for you to be considered for residency?
Well,
Good
the
question.
answer is yes. The minimum is $200,000. That is the minimum to be considered investor, and it has to be through a specific investment. So it's not only any type of investment. So it has to be through a specific investment and a specific way to invest by creating a company, by generating employment here in the DR, and the investment has to be focused to create new jobs, to create wellness in the DR.
Okay, that's beautiful.
And
Beautiful.
this is some of the things that you need to prove before you can get the certification that will certify you as investor through your company.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Well, this is Stop Struggling Now, the SSN Nation, the Financial Freedom Network, Johan. That's what we're trying to do here. And actually, me and you, well, I'm going to bring it out. Me and you, I was asking you about something. And quite frankly, I have something else that I call SSN Lifestyle.
Okay.
All right. So that's to help people. And so as a group, sometimes as an individual, a person might not be able to do something, and then they don't do it. So as a group, they might do something. So I
Absolutely.
asked you the other day about something, because I told people here, as a business, you should start a business now in the Dominican Republic and ride the wave with the growth, because there's going to definitely be millions of more people coming.
Yeah.
So I was talking to you about, for instance, a storage acreage for a storage location, right? And so the idea is, even if I don't do it personally myself, I might get like a group of people to come in with me on it. And if I do that, I have to see you. And then I guess we'll be talking about how we're going to structure our business, right? So in the DR, what is the deal with partnerships? Is it different? Is there some sort of, how does that work?
Well, I think in my experience, partnerships in terms of the legal structure works the same way as it will work in the U.S. by establishing a company. The investors will have the number of shares that will represent the percentages that they own in the company. The decisions will be made by 51% of the shares voters, and if in the event that the one of the owners wants, one of the members, one of the shareholders wants to sell their participation, they will have to have the first option will have to be the partners that are already in the company. So technically, in terms of the legal structure, it is pretty similar to what you guys have in the U.S.
Yes, exactly. I like to hear that as well. I'm loving this more and more, because it's easy to understand if you're from the United States and doing business there. It's seemingly the same laws. It's beautiful. All right. Mo Better says, let's go. That's his thing. All right. He's the investor. He's the emerging millionaire. He's in the house. And you know who he is. So he says, what's up, Johan?
How are
He's
you?
even giving you a message tonight. He's
Yeah.
saying, I finished my paperwork and sent it to you.
Fantastic,
So,
fantastic. Thank you. We'll be Attorney Harold and myself will be ready to assist you.
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
right on. Okay. You guys, everyone here, whoever finds this video later after they leave, there is no mistake on who you need to contact if you're doing any business whatsoever in Dominican Republic. The men are here. Johan Confidente and Harold Avila. You guys know who they are, and you have their WhatsApp, or at least Johan's WhatsApp. And so there's no reason not to contact the best, ladies and gentlemen. Get taken care of, and just mention your SSN Nation. That matters. All right. And Mo Better says, what's going on, Eric? What's going on, everybody? I got the notification and trailer. That's his thing. Let's go. Well, we're trying to make it happen. And then Professor Auntie Val says, coffee in the DR.
That sounds good.
A good idea.
Oh, hey, she's doing something right now. It's going to be called Beachside Coffee. And she's just starting it. She hasn't fully
Nice.
formed it yet, but she's starting that. So
It sounds
there you
like a
go.
good idea for the Dominican Republic, one of the top coffee producers in the world,
Yeah.
one of the
Oh.
best coffees. in the
Oh
word.
my. Well, then she has all the more reason to be getting some property, Professor Auntie Val, or business started in the Dominican Republic. This is great to hear. All right. It looks like we don't have any further questions. So I want to thank both of you for being here. Again, Johan Confidente, Harold Davila, thank you so much for being in the house again.
Well, thank you. Thanks to you and the audience for having us here tonight. It was a great, great honor to share with you, and I'll be more than happy to continue to receive the questions of the audience. And my colleague, Attorney Harold, and myself will be more than happy to answer all your questions. Harold?
Absolutely, yes. Mr. Eric, thank you so much for inviting us to your channel. It is a great pleasure to be here, and thank you so much.
Oh, no, thank you. The pleasure is all mine. You guys can come on anytime. This is where the winners reside. This is where we do this thing up here. All right, now I'm gonna allow this question. You don't have to answer, because there's no way to know. But what is the price of representing us? You'll have to say.
Well, I would like to. I'm gonna have a special prize for all the SSA Nation members. So let me answer that question individually. Every case is different, and I would like to have the chance to know more about your case and answer the question directly. I mean, individually to each and everybody who are in the Super 4. But as soon as you tell us that you come from SSA Nation, you will have special treatments.
Absolutely.
Exactly. All right. Seeing how you were getting ready to leave. See, people start saying they say, hey, we can't let you go yet. Investment Panther is another real estate investor as well. He's in the house and he says he's got nothing but love for Johan. So
thank you. We love him too.
Exactly. Silverman Fox, what do you think? Welcome to the SSN Nation Wednesday night live stream with the preeminent lawyer with his best friend. I'm going to say best friend, even though I don't know.
We
Harold
do.
Davila.
We're colleague and good friends.
Exactly. I figured.
Even when I bid in my golf, we're still friends. We're still good friends.
All right, we're gonna have to go out and play some golf, man.
Yeah, that'll be nice. We can play when you come.
Absolutely.
That's right, man. That's right. I play golf a little different though.
How do you do that?
I go first. I'm gonna call you up and be like, hey man, you have the coolers. You have all my rum and Coke, right? You got the sandwiches, right?
That's part of it. That's part of it. That has to be part of it.
That's right. All right.
Yeah.
Investment Panther says he helped me close last year. So see, here we have another client of yours that's very happy he's in the house tonight.
Thank you, Investment Panther. Thank you.
Yes. Kara 600, welcome to the SSN Nation Wednesday night live stream with Johan Confidente and Harold Davila. She says, thanks for the info. All right.
It's our pleasure.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. And Mo Better says, I sent the application back already. Carolyn confirmed it. This is Dupree. All right.
Carolyn, yes, she's a great one. She's one of the assistant here, and she does a great job. We're very, very happy to have her on board.
That's right. All right, Dupree. Very well done, man. He went with the best as suggested. So great job. All right, Johan, I'm going to let you guys go for this evening. But
thank you so much, Eric. Thank you so much. We'll be happy to see you and be happy to talk to all the SSA Nation looking to invest in the Dominican Republic.
Absolutely, yes.
All right.
Thank you so
much.
Guys
take care. All right. I'll see you later.
Bye-bye. Have a good one.
All right. You too.